Hey everybody, and welcome back to the second half of round 2 of the Wyoming Classic 2021 here at Romero Disc Golf Course in Cheyenne. I'm Coda, and this is Dale.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again.
We're going to be joining these guys on some of the longer, more difficult holes, except for maybe one or two of them, and a lot more elevation change, and we're going to see how well these four handle these ups and downs in this wind.
So far, as you can tell from this putt here, Joe's really not letting that wind phase him too much this round.
Running it a little less maybe, but still getting those pars and birdies everywhere. Same with TK. He's been a fighter this round for sure. He's seen some ups and downs, but he's doing good.
Yep.
Our two Arvada players.
Yep.
And then Tyler Liebman from Fort Collins. He's had a little bit of a rough start, but the last couple of holes he started to turn it around, and we're going to see if he can't really keep that momentum going for this second half.
And then we have Marshall McGill out of Denver. He was doing pretty good to start, but he hits a few snags there towards the end of the front nine. Hopefully he can turn that back around. So here we have hole 10. This is a very downhill hole, but the wind direction makes a huge difference on what you can throw on this hole.
The safest play with this kind of wind is just going to be a spike with a stable driver, as Joe kind of tells the wind, hey, come on, I'm trying to throw here.
Right? But yeah, that's about what you want to do in this wind direction.
As soon as it starts to fade, it's going to drop.
A little bit deep, but that would definitely be preferred to being short and in the bushes.
Definitely the safe shot.
Looks like Tyler took something really overstable and just got more turned to the left than he was expecting.
Gave himself a nice tailwind.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can tell all of them. You get up on this hill here and you can really feel it.
Looks like he might have left it out a little bit early too.
A little deep. But a really good shot.
Yep.
His discs just love to dig and not go anywhere.
Alright. So all of them chose to go with the backhand hyzer.
Ooh, creeping over the bushes.
Yeah, about pin high, but a little bit too far right on that one, but that's okay. Looks like he's on the good side of all the bushes.
Yeah, he won't have a horribly obstructed putt. Ooh, good bid from TK.
Let's see if Tyler can put another one in from outside the circle. That tailwind's just dropping him like a rock.
Definitely give it the height that it needed. Well, I mean, obviously not, but in any other situation without this tailwind, like that was a good shot.
Yeah. Okay, so he didn't quite get out of the bushes, but he's on the good side, so... Oh, just a little bit too high on that one. Joe will tap out his par and just move on.
I think we missed Joe's up on that one.
Yeah, we missed quite a few on this one. I think some of these guys were a little frustrated with the wind and...
It's a star par, though. It's not bad. I think some of it could also be, though, oh my goodness, there's a lull. There's not as much wind. I'm going to take my shot right now while I can, you know?
Yeah, that could have something to do with it.
I also am guilty of rushing shots in those situations, too.
So here's hole 11. This one is one of our longest holes. I think it is the longest, and it plays way uphill, so it plays even longer than it actually is. It looks like that's a really good shot.
That was great. Similar line.
Yep, they're just putting it out there to the right, counting on the wind to push it back. It's been pushing them around all day. May as well get some use out of it.
He ended up a little far out there, but open.
Yeah.
It came up pretty short. Looks like a low release.
Yeah, that's the more common area for people to end up in, though. Not everybody has the arm to get all the way up to this one, so you see a lot more in the range of where Marshall and TK ended up.
That got Marshall around that bush, so Marshall should have a good putt here.
Yeah,
TK
he should
is really
be
the only one
open.
having to deal with it. Let's see if he can get around it.
Oh no. Hopefully he's got enough room to be able to do a lean out putt or something from there at least. Tyler from just outside the circle. That's a great birdie.
Great birdie.
I believe there was only 3 birdies on this hole on the day, and John Booth on the card ahead of these guys got one of them.
Yep, that is indeed correct. There's also only 3 bogeys. It was a very parred hole.
That kind of makes sense. I got to give John a shout out because I actually heard that he got the 2 on this one with a sidearm off of the tee. And that is huge for a sidearm, especially with the wind. He just turned it over and let that wind hold it over, I heard. That's a great 2 to get, though. And we see 2 of them on this card.
Yeah, that was awesome to watch, guys. Good putts, good drives. And Marshall, I'm not sure if we got to see his putt. I think he did that a little quick, but he took his 3 as well.
Yeah. Here we have hole 12. It's another uphill hole. It says 279, but it plays a little more like 320. And then there's an OB line right behind it that makes it really tough to get yourself to actually get all the way to it.
That looked great.
Yeah, that's how you want to play this hole right there.
The less you got to putt today, the better. Oh, get the roll, get the roll. Not quite, but that's still a good putt from him.
Yeah, that's not bad. And tailwind putt, so just got to make sure you get enough air under it to give it room to fall.
That just dropped. Didn't catch anything. That was weird.
Oh, and Marshall's gonna find that OB behind there.
That must be Marshall there.
Yep, that was Marshall just tossing it up there.
Got beaten down.
Yeah, it's really hard to get enough on it and get it high enough when there's this much of a tailwind.
Oh, that was a good bid from Tyler. Great bird.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can do that. 'Cause up on this hill, that makes the putting just that much more
You can
intimidating.
see right now from this angle, the basket actually does kind of lean a little bit toward the downhill,
It does.
which tends to push things toward the hill and roll them off.
It's a good par by Tyler.
Nice average par for the card. Unfortunately, Marshall did take his OB bogey on that. Still a safe play, though. He laid it up for his 4, took his licks, and now he's going to come up to the easiest hole of the day.
This one is a really fun one to throw. Just almost straight downhill.
And it's almost jump putt.
Right.
Like, it's almost
It
jump
is
putt
actually
range.
doable to jump putt this hole.
The wind actually becomes more of a crosswind at this point as it wraps around the hill.
Oh, that's kind of a surprising
Like it
shot
pushed
there.
that down.
Yeah.
It was
just-
low release, which you kind of need on this hole, but that did look a little pushed down.
Yeah, I think the wind got on top of it. I think you're
Tyler
right.
is stuck in the tree over there. He could have an open shot. We'll see if he can. I mean, if anyone can
Ooh.
straddle out of that, he can. But that was a good run from TK.
That one definitely had a chance.
Oh.
And that's what you want to see on this hole.
That was great.
That was just about perfect. Joe actually left himself a little bit of work there. That's still a good upshot. He's only 15-ish feet.
TK just gave it too much and ended up outside the circle.
Tyler, that was good just to get out of where he was.
Yeah. They can be treacherous over there. It's a good putt.
Joe cleaning up his par. That's a great putt. He's got a really good round going, so it's always nice to see that didn't affect his round on the shortest hole on the course, especially.
Marshall getting the solo birdie on the easiest hole on the course. But when you find yourself in trouble in those trees, or you come up a little short, sometimes
or a little long.
Yeah, sometimes that putt's a little bit difficult to make.
That was a good birdie by
more
Marshall.
Than 50% birdies on the day on that one.
I don't doubt it. That's another one that you're almost disappointed with yourself if you don't manage to get the birdie on it.
Hole 14 is one that kind of looks like that when you get on the tee pad, but then there's a bunch of obstacles. The tree on the right is what gets a lot of people.
Yeah, those branches get in the way a lot more than you expect them to when you're looking at
by
it.
The basket eats a lot of drives as well.
And if you end up on the wrong side
of
like
those
that,
bushes, yeah,
then there's almost no way to get there. You got to kind of lob it over and hope it stays close.
Or throw something vertical, and that's never safe.
Yeah. And that can be almost as bad.
But that looks like it's open on the other side, and he's got a putt.
Yeah, he's definitely got a better chance at a putt and an easier approach shot, even if there isn't a chance at a putt.
Beautiful.
As long as it stayed up top,
because
it can get a little thick down there too. I mean, there's trouble all around this basket. So you're right, it looks like the easy birdie, but it isn't necessarily.
Joe's got a straddle out here, uphill into a headwind.
Oh, that was a good bid. Let's
it
hope
looks like
he didn't.
It might have caught the branches on that bush a little bit.
Let's hope it didn't keep going through.
No!
And that was where his second shot ended up. He did have to lob it up over the top, and it got all the way down. Definitely not what he was hoping for on a hole like this.
Still, very, very good putt. Almost a good save there. Good birdie for Ty.
Yeah, that was... Those bushes did catch him, so that really was a great shot. If he had gotten on the other side of those, that is a whole nother story, though.
I gotta say, Tyler Kirkpatrick also birdied that. Sorry, I just kind of... It happened so fast, I didn't even realize that it happened, so that was a good job, guys.
Yeah.
And now they are only one stroke away from each other. They're neck
Tyler's
and neck.
coming back a little bit. TK's going to have to watch out because Tyler's starting to make his move a little bit. Joe is just pulling away at this point, though.
Well, from this card, we don't know how Calvin and Jacob are doing at this point in time.
Right. And like I said earlier, John Booth was playing really well, so...
Ooh, early release. But, I mean, that's salvageable par. I don't think he's going to go for his two from there, but...
Oh, and that thumber just got taken by the wind.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that tree on the right is a Mando that you have to go left of, so...
You can just barely see the sign in it.
Luckily, there is a drop zone, so he'll be able to move up to the other side of this ditch in front of us, but just to the other side.
Joe just laced it.
And that's what you want to do.
Perfect.
That is a touchy shot, but he performed it perfectly.
Riding that tailwind all the way there.
Marshall throwing a great shot as well.
Yes, he does. A little bit far out for his putt, but that's definitely gettable for him.
Oh. Those branches are so low that it is pretty tough to approach from that side. Let's see if Tyler can pull it off a little better.
He's got quite a bit of extra distance on that, so
yeah, that was a good
easier
up
for him.
Oh, Marshall just a little low on that birdie attempt.
Good bid.
TK looks like he's near circle's edge as well. Oh, and just drops it in. Great putt. Alright, Joe will clean up yet another birdie. He's playing really well so far.
And TK, it said he got a par on that, but he did have to take that shot from the drop zone. So he actually did get a 4 on that one.
That is right. Yeah.
And now it's fixed, so yeah. Still, though, great save from that drop zone. And
that'll
great
tie
birdie
him
from
and
Joe.
Tyler up.
And now we go into some of the last 3 holes are 3 of the harder holes in the course. 6 being the third, or 16 rather, being the third most difficult. It
And
does
again,
play a little bit downhill.
probably our
which is
next
nice.
longest hole, but it is downhill instead of uphill, so it's
But this is
definitely
straight back
more
into that
gettable.
wind.
But yeah, it's straight headwind almost.
And that OB right on that street can come into play more than you'd think.
Yeah, if you get one flipped over, it can end up in that street really fast. Joe doesn't seem to have any trouble with
It was
that.
a great shot. It looks like he got around that low line.
Yeah, I
branch.
think he should have a pretty open look from there.
The one branch you really got to get around for the hyzer line.
I know Tyler's got the power for this hole. Looks like he let it out a little bit early, though.
He'll still have an open look to the basket from there. He might be able to run it.
Yeah. Oh, Marshall's got flipped over a little bit, it looks like. Luckily, that whole area is in bounds. It's kind of far away from the basket there, but he should have a pretty open, just
Nice
hyzer
hyzer,
approach
yep.
shot. TK trying to flip one
That's
over.
just not
That's
gonna flex enough.
yeah, just turned too much a little bit. But he'll have the under the branch shot. That's not too bad.
No, and he performed it beautifully.
Yeah, he did. Okay, and Tyler had a pretty easy approach shot. Joe just kind of laying that up real quick.
Looks like we Marshall went over and got his taken care of already. This is be for his 3.
Yeah.
That was a decent lie from where he was to where he ended. That was a good putt.
Alright. Oh no, and then the
Oh,
roll
bad
even.
roll.
Oh, and he got into the bushes. That's unfortunate.
Still runs
That
at
was
it.
a rough hole. Tyler will clean up his par. Joe's just got a drop in for par there. Marshall will take the 6. Those always hurt.
Yeah, that is very painful.
Definitely not a morale booster for this next hole coming up.
The other 3's cleaning up their pars, and Ty and TK staying tied at 5 down.
And Joe
Only
just
2 holes
pulling
left,
away
and
at
they are
12
fighting.
down. Considering he was only 5 coming into this round.
Now we get to the island hole, which is realistically a birdie or die. Like, there are some pars depending on where you land on the island and how far your putt is, but this is a birdie
Well, and,
bogey
or if you make it
situation.
from the... Because it is a tailwind putt from the drop zone, so it's definitely doable. That... Oh, that skip will help.
Oh, man! Oh,
Whew.
Oh my God, Joe.
That had to have skipped about half that fairway almost.
that was awesome.
Looks like Tyler's got a driver in his hands. He must be thinking some sort of a spike.
Yep. Let that crosswind just push that spike into the island. And it does.
Oh,
man.
look at that wind playing with that disc, though. A lot of unusual
Honestly,
ground
though,
play on
with
that.
that kind of skip, that might have ended up flaring off the island. That wind might have kept him safe.
Yeah, that's true. That very well could be true.
I don't know how many times I've thought I hit the island, and I probably did, and then flare out left. Oh, get it.
Oh, and that's just gonna miss left.
Everyone just kind of looks beaten and battered.
Yeah, I'm sure it has been a rough day for him.
And that just died on him.
So here's the drop zone. So it's definitely a savable 3.
It's about 35 out.
And
Maybe
it's
a bit
you can
more.
see the flags right there at his feet. It's almost straight tailwind. So
That was a good putt.
yeah, that was a good attempt at it. It's definitely doable. Oh, and just short also.
But they're stuck right there. They didn't roll or get any ground play. They'll get their 4s and walk off. Oh, great shot.
Great birdie. And as you can see, this is pretty much a birdie or a bogey. You don't often see anything else. Looks like Joe's maybe 20 or 25
there.
and just a little
There's
bit
that par we
nose
were talking
down.
about. There was only 4 of them on the day. 4
Yeah,
pars,
I
and the
could
rest was
believe
birdie,
that.
birdie and bogey.
I could believe that. So we had 1 birdie and 2 bogeys on that hole. Joe will take his par and just move on. No
And
harm done.
That officially brings Tyler ahead of TK.
Yep.
Going into the last hole, it was, man, did that fight really drag
And
out
I
this
do
whole
know
round.
that at this point, Joe was walking up to find out what John Booth was doing, because he had been watching the scores and he wanted to know what he needed to do to make sure he won. So John is shooting lights out right now because he was behind Joe coming into this round by 2 strokes.
He hit the wire.
He hit the wire and just knocked him straight down. Can you believe that? That's unlucky, but it's not like they're hidden. There's definitely that chance when you take the big hyzer on this
Joe
hole.
going thumber. That's a big thumber.
Well, he found out that John took a 3 on this hole and Joe had 2 strokes on him, so he wasn't trying to get anything better than a par. He was just trying to make sure he didn't get anything worse than a bogey, because he could bogey this hole and still win.
Is that going to flip too much? I lost it. Oh.
Oh, and it did flip too much. He went out up near the basket, though, it looked like.
That's salvageable. Tyler just got beaten down. Ooh, great upshot.
Yep, that's what you need to do from there.
Joe just lays it up for his 3 and gets ready to call himself a champion.
Yep, that's all he needed to do, so no need to push his luck.
I guess Jacob and Calvin didn't fare so well at Romero. They were first and second coming into this round.
But they got to go out before the wind really picked up at Dry Creek, and it's even more open here, so
Marshall just...
I think he's glad that he's done, for sure.
I feel you, man. I've totally been there. Pretty sure we all have.
So Joe taking down the win at 12 down with a 7 under round in that win.
That was great. That was fun to watch.
Amazing. And TK finishing 1 up for the round, but still 4 down for the tournament, which puts him in a tie
Actually,
for
Calvin
8th.
and Jacob stayed in second or in third and fourth. They did pretty well.
And John, he was 2 behind Joe going into that round and finished 2 behind Joe, so he had as good of a round as we watched from Joe. We got Tyler tied with Josiah and Skylar, and then quite
And
a
then
few people
everyone else
tied
at
at 4 down.
There's a lot of us.
Yep, see a couple local
But
names
there was
there.
nobody over par for the weekend there, so or
At least in
on-
the
on
top
these
10-ish
top- yeah,
area.
sorry.
On
I was like, is that the whole
Unfortunately,
field?
I'm not showing the whole leaderboard here, but
Sorry, my bad, guys.
really enjoyed getting to share this round with you. So, thanks for joining me with the commentary, and thanks
yeah.
everybody for watching. Have a nice one.